What's up guys, Two Banks of Five here with another video today. I want to talk about the Arteta and Ancelotti hirings for Everton and Arsenal respectively. Now, I'm going to speak about why there could be good and bad reasons for their hirings for each club. And at the end, I'm going to say what I think should have happened and what would make more sense for the clubs. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of the deal, so I can't comment too much. But anyway, so first off, it's pretty much confirmed that Carlo Ancelotti will be the Everton manager. Carlo is a very successful manager, 3 Champions Leagues. He's won titles in England as well with Chelsea. He's more known as a man who comes into a club who's nearly there. Gets a few more players, makes a few more tweaks, and can make them title-winning sides. I don't think, in my opinion, that's not what Everton need right now. I understand where they're coming from. He will get them results. They will be more tactically correct, I guess, and they will perform better. He must have had assurances that Everton are going to spend money, and their owner has the money, obviously, to spend that. They've spent it probably wrong in the last 4 or 5 years. They spent 500 million in the last half decade, I think. And they're always having the best transfer window of all the teams. You just think, oh, that's a great signing, that's great. But they just never work out. So I can see the effectiveness Ancelotti will have. The owner of Everton, I can't quite recall his name. He's basically, when he bought the club, said he wants them to be a Champions League side. He wants a Hollywood team, Hollywood manager. And I think that's what he's getting. He's getting a big-time manager who he thinks can attract players and thinks will bring Everton to a new level. The only problem for me, and I'll speak about this more later, is Ancelotti's not a manager who sticks around for 4 to 5 years, which is what I think this build's going to take. It's not going to be 1 or 2 windows. I think maybe if he was at like a Manchester United or something like that, who have the money, have the history, Everton have history as well, but also have the appeal, then yes, definitely, they could just bring in 3 or 4 world-class players. But I don't think Everton are that attractive at the moment for world-class players. So it is going to take time. They're not going to go out and sign a big player straight away. It's a rebuild job. It's not even a rebuild job. They just need to build. They just need to build, really. That's sizzling as my food, by the way. I don't think Carlo Ancelotti is a manager to see you through pretty much the construction of a team, a philosophy, a new stadium. I don't think he's that guy. And that's just my opinion. He might do great, and he probably will because he's a great manager with much success. Maybe Everton, though, have given him the assurances that they'll give him this much money to deal with and he can have a look at players. I know when Liverpool was struggling before they hired Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen and Carlo were the 2 managers that Liverpool owners were looking at. And in Carlo's interview, he basically said, this is what I need. I need a defender, I need this, and this. Obviously, they chose Klopp, as history will show. But I can't see Carlo Ancelotti coming into an Everton meeting and going, you know what, whatever, I'm happy with the players I have here. Just let me coach them. I'll work my magic. I don't see that. There's already rumours. I've seen some Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Everton. That would be crazy. I would love to see that, though. That'd be fun. I'll go to Arteta next. I was watching Arsenal Fan TV earlier. Robbie sort of didn't seem too coy on the idea of Arteta coaching. Arteta obviously previously was favourite for the job when Arsene Wenger left. I didn't know much about Arteta. I've watched him when Liverpool played City, and I watched him in the stands, and he chats a lot to Guardiola. I and I've read a lot about him today. He's taking training sessions with Arsenal when he was near the end of his contract and finished up. He was doing his coaching badges. He was obviously the captain of Arsenal. He's a leader. He's tactically very astute. The biggest example I can give that I found was the Man City game versus Arsenal 2 years ago, the first game of the season, Emery's first game. City was struggling to score, I believe, and he noticed some space at the top of the box. And after half-time, I think, or before, he might have told Mendy to, instead of cross the ball across the box, cut it back. And it led to a goal, and you could see all the coaches on the bench were celebrating for Arteta, not with Arteta. Apparently, he's had a lot to do with the game of Sterling and Fernandinho. And it's just clear, as a coach, he probably would have a winning mentality. He knows how to build a good club. He knows he's worked under Guardiola, and as much as people might not like Guardiola, he is probably the best coach of this generation. And working off him definitely would improve your game, your management style, etc., etc. And on top of that, I think the one thing that's key is I don't think he'll be a yes man. I've seen him arguing with Guardiola on the sidelines. You know, working with Guardiola, you wouldn't be a weak-minded person, I don't think. Definitely the way his philosophy about football, how he thinks, how he works. He'd want someone by him who is able to question his techniques and provide options. And I think that's why Arteta will be a very good coach in the future. It's just whether he gets the lucky break on this first go and whether he can manage all the other stuff. Because I'm pretty sure it's clear he's a good coach. I don't think Guardiola would have taken him from Arsenal to be his assistant coach if he didn't rate him highly. Arteta sort of reminds me of Pep Linders. Not in the way they act or whatever, but just two very obviously tactically sound coaches who are the second man to the two best managers in England, sorry. And both of them can move on, and Arteta is moving on. How that can affect City, I don't know. I spoke about it in my last video. It may have bearing on the result against Leicester, but Pep's a smart man. He'll get someone else in second to him, and he'll help. I mean, De Bruyne is apparently doing these coaching badges, so wait and see. I think they're decent hires, but ultimately, I think when they're sitting in the stands this weekend watching both of their teams play, sorry guys, just had to take a break there. That's why this may not make sense and be cut really, really fine. I think I was saying when they both are at Goodison this weekend watching their teams play, I think they'll wish they won't wish they were on the other side. I think it makes more sense if they switch roles. Maybe they can shake hands or something. All right, I'll start with Ancelotti. Arsenal are a team in crisis at the moment. They need some structure. They need someone tactically nous, been there, done it before. You could say Arteta is tactically nous, and he obviously is. But someone who's experienced those tough times as a manager, who can work with a not a very good squad, if I'm honest, and try and get the best out of them. And the problem with Arsenal is it's a systematic issue. So bringing in someone like an Arteta for a long time may not work, ultimately because, you know, the structure of the club is just to earn money at the moment, as it seems. So they could just do with a manager like Ancelotti who, you know, give him a few options, give him a bit of money to work with, as much as the owners can give him, and see what he can do with the squad. And he can probably work wonders in terms of getting the best out of Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, and getting them in a system that's rigid, and stops them getting counter-attacked and attacked so easily through the middle, fix that defence. And he would only stick around for a few years until Arsenal figured out what their next plan is. Arsenal has so many different players in different stages of their careers. Ozil and Luiz have the experience, but at the same time, I don't think they have the desire anymore. And there's so many young kids in that team. They just need some leadership as well. So definitely, I think Ancelotti would be a better fit for Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are ready to compete and spend spend that much. They're trying to get as much as they can for as little. So I think Ancelotti would do better at that. And maybe scrape a top 4 or something next season. Why I think Everton should go for Arteta is Everton obviously have a lot of money now. I don't know how much. Obviously, they got to play within financial fair play. But the thing for me is Everton are a club that they've been trying to create a team with an identity, and everyone goes, that's the Everton way. They're trying to build something long-term. I don't think Ancelotti's that. I've said it before. I've maybe made contradictory points. Ancelotti is definitely a short-term coach. And yes, if you give him some money, he may be able to turn out a good side who competes. But at the same time, I think Everton need to focus on longevity and building something. Arteta's been at Manchester City. He's coached under the best manager in the world. He'll know the ins and outs of Man City and how he can try and implement some of this stuff at Everton. He's played for Everton as well. And I think Everton will be a lot more patient with Arteta. And Everton, the last few times they've hired a manager, they've gone for someone not young, but youngish. Ronald Koeman isn't the oldest bloke. He's a bit old. And Silva isn't as young as well. And it's clear what they're trying to create is an identity at the club. They're trying to do it as right as they can. You know, they don't seem like they want to slap another 300 million at it and just buy all the players you'd buy in your first career mode at FIFA. You know, they're trying to build a team that will last a long time under one manager with one set of play. And I think that's what Arteta would give them. He would give them basically, you know, a whole footballing philosophy. The same thing Guardiola's done at Manchester City, Klopp's done at Liverpool, and many other brilliant coaches have done elsewhere. I think I keep saying thing. I'm pretty sure Arteta is going, in 10 years, we may be looking at Arteta in a similar ilk as we're looking at the Klopps and maybe not the Guardiolas right now. A very good manager who is very successful. I would say a Pochettino. Maybe in 6 years we'll be looking at Arteta as a Pochettino. That's the vibes I'm getting from him, watching him as a coach for Manchester City and what I'm hearing about him. So, in all honesty, in my opinion, they should have switched roles. Everton should have gone for Arteta. Ancelotti should have gone to Arsenal. And I'll tell you why they didn't. Everton have put so much money into the club. They just want success. They want a quick turnaround. I think they've tried to build a footballing philosophy at the club, but it hasn't worked. I don't think they're willing to risk that right now. In terms of Arsenal, it's not an appealing job at the moment at all. And on top of that, you could say, do they want success right away? Are they hoping, because Arteta is a good coach, that he'll somehow magically fix them? I don't know. I assume Arteta wants assurances as well. So I definitely think they would be better off at the other clubs. But at the same time, I'm not going to knock it. I think both will and probably will do well at the respective clubs. It's clear where Everton and Arsenal want to be. They want to be up there with the top six, current top six. And it just makes for interesting Premier League for the next half a decade, I think, because you've got Liverpool side playing magnificently under Klopp. He's staying around, and then Gerrard's probably going to come in, or Pep Linders. You have Manchester City, who, even if they lose Guardiola, will surely get someone. I think they'll get Pochettino, to be honest. And they have the money to compete as well. Manchester United, they have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment, but you know they're going to go for a big manager as well, and they have the finances. Chelsea are building something under Frank Lampard. Spurs are on the Mourinho train. I think they're only on the Mourinho train until they can sort out their next manager. Brendan Rodgers, I think, is a great coach. He plays some great football. I think he's matured a lot. Leicester aren't leaking that many goals. They're the least conceded against team in the Premier League. Least conceded goals, which is crazy coming from the guy who was 3-0 up at Crystal Palace and dropped the ball a bit there, didn't he? And now Arteta and Ancelotti at Everton Arsenal. It's going to be fantastic years of Premier League viewing. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit us out on our socials at 2 Banks of 5. Make sure to chuck a few little, what's it called? Not slashes, underscore, yeah. 2 underscore Banks underscore of underscore 5. I think that's it. All right, guys. See you later. We should be back very shortly with another Premier League video. I've done the review already. I don't know what else to talk about. But anyway, I'll see you guys later.